Hey guys, STTM here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the 2020-25 NBA Draft and grading all of the picks and the team's overall classes, and also we're going to be grading some UDFA signings. So yeah, guys, but before we get into it, make sure that you like, subscribe, put on notifications, and comment on the video, as it lets me know what you think, gets me more recommended, and if you put on notifications, you will literally be updated on the latest STTM videos that you do not want to miss. And I'll just appreciate it. So, enough with the Japanese, and let's get straight into the video. Bow! So, start off with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm not really going to grade them because Derek Queen and Drake Powell are not actual Hawks picks, and instead Queen will be playing in New Orleans and Drake Powell will be playing in Brooklyn. By the way, that kind of leads me to like an issue that ESPN's casting had. So when in the 31st pick, right, when Rasheer Fleming got selected by the Suns, it had the Wolves graphic, and even Papa STTM pointed this out. That's actually kind of strange to me. I don't even know why they were doing that. Like, that's weird. They didn't update that, which is pretty strange. But I think I can forgive the Hawks for not having any firsts because they are actually building a solid roster as they've gotten a lot of depth and the Kristaps move, and they only had to give up Georges Niang and Terrence Mann for Kristaps. They did have to give up a lot of these picks, but they did have to give up that 22nd, but Atlanta's still having a good roster, so I can't be too mad. I'm not going to grade them though because they didn't really have any picks. Now for Brooklyn, I'd say the Igor Demon move probably gets I'd give it a B plus. I think there's definitely better options for them at 8. I would say they could have gone anywhere else, but it's still a very solid pick. It is a project though. I won't lie. Igor Demon is kind of became a project, but he can be the 2, 3, and 4, so there's some big versatility there added for Igor Demon. Nolan Traore, I'd give that pick an A because I think they really need a point guard, and most of their depth is probably not coming back, so it's good to reload on that. Ben Saroff, I'd give a B minus. He's not going to be too useful for this team. I really don't think he's going to last very long. He's a solid player, don't get me wrong. He's actually a pretty good addition, but he's probably not going to last too long. And plus, they already got 2 players that can play guard already. So Ben Saroff is going to be a B minus. He's still a good player though, so he'll at least get a B minus. Danny Wolf for me, I think will get an A minus. I think he might be the smartest pick here because they're actually focusing on another area at this point, which is a smart move for me. So because of that, Danny Wolf will have the highest grade at A minus, but he kind of plays like a guard, so he won't get an A or A plus. Hugo Gonzalez, I'm not gonna grade the Noah Penda pick because he's Orlando property, but that's an A plus pick for Orlando because that's some decent value right there. He was supposed to be top 20. Oh, and for Drake Powell, I think that's a C plus for the Nets. They just already have a lot of guards from their draft class. But for Hugo Gonzalez, I'd give that pick a solid A minus as well. That's a smart pick because Boston should really focus up on their depth, which they've been doing a lot. And also, it looks like that team's kind of falling off because Kristaps and Holiday are gone. So that team might be doing something a little rather interesting with their roster right now. Charlotte, I'm gonna give Con Kneppel. I'm gonna give that pick I'd give that a B. They probably could have went for Trey Johnson instead, but I like having a combo having a 2-3 combo guy, which I think could set up some good plays. They could use him, LaMelo. They could use LaMelo, Con, and Brandon Miller in that at the 1, 2, and 3 pretty well. That's a pretty solid lineup. I like Cyan James for the depth. Same with Ryan Kalkbrenner too. I don't like how they got rid of Mark Williams, to be honest. I don't think they should have traded him to the Suns because the Suns already got a whole lot. They already got Kyle Malawak, so I don't think they should have traded him. But In return, Liam McNeely, amazing shooter in this class. That's good value getting back. Noah Essengay is pretty. I think he's an okay pick. I'd give him like a B. And then for the overall classes, the Nets get like I'd give them like a B plus. Celtics get like an A because their one pick was pretty smart. Hornets, I think, get like an A minus. Not gonna grade the Hawks. Chicago, I think it's like a C plus for me because like Rocco Zakarski's not gonna do much for them. And Noah Essengay, he's good, but I'm not sure what he could do with them. I think they got Cleveland. I think got some pretty good value. Saliu Niang, he's going to be pretty useless to be honest. No offense, buddy. I do like him as a prospect, but he's not going to do much for Cleveland, so I'm gonna give him like a D minus. And then Tyrese Proctor, I think, is some good value, so I'll give him like a B minus. Cleveland's overall class, I'd say, gets like a C minus. Cooper Flag at Duke, that's all Dallas did, but that is okay. A plus. They didn't mess up such a simple choice, so they get A. I'm not grading Denver actually, because they didn't have any picks. Chaz Lanier, I'll give this pick about like a C plus. It's a smart move. He could work well. The only problem is that he's such an old rookie. So he's gonna be such an old rookie. So I think that would just give their class a C. Kobe Bray, I think this is a solid move. Although he actually is going to be with the Suns, so I'm not going to grade Golden State. Golden State gets no grade. Wow, Houston got nothing out of this draft, so they get no grade. But that's okay, because they're still going to be a very good team. Indy, they got Talon Peter, which that's a terrible pick. I'm not even going to lie. I don't even know if Talon Peter's top 100. Yeah, he's not even top 100, and they got him with that pick. I mean, they don't really have to try with that pick because it is super late in the draft, but still. Yannick Conan-Niederhauser, they could have went. I think they should have went for Maxime Reynaud or Ryan Kalkbrenner instead, but Yannick Conan-Niederhauser is a very solid big out of Penn State. So I'll give this pick like about a B. I think Indy gets an F because of that terrible pick, super late in the draft. And then the Clippers class, I think it's like a B for me. And I can't grade Mohamed Dior because he went to the Knicks. But that's a solid pick for New York. So I'll give that like a B minus for New York's grade. Now it does say Lachlan Olbrich was the only pick for the Lakers, but they did get Adele Thiero. So I will give the Lakers class like about a B. Actually, I'll give that a B plus. That's some very good value with the 36th pick. So that's why this Lakers class will get a B plus. But this isn't a bad move. Bulls are kind of stuck with Rocco Zakarski and Lachlan Olbrich now, so they're like the Australian Chicago Bulls or something. Not sure. But like, that's not a bad pick for them. Not going to grade Yang Hansen, but for Portland, that's an F because I don't even know if he was supposed to be like top 30. He's not even supposed to be top 35. I think they could actually get some decent value out of Javon Small, and then I'm going to give like a D for the Wizards, for the Warriors, Will Richard pick, because that's not really going to do anything for them. But I'm actually going to give Javon Small B because they actually can develop some value out of like really unexpected players. And they did it with Jalen Wells. I'm sure they could do it with Javon Small. Kasparis Jakushonis for the Heat. I'm going to give that like an A because that's a smart move. That's a smart move for the Heat, okay? That's a smart move for them. They could have really needed Kasparis Jakushonis. Milwaukee, Boguja Markovic. That's some good value right here, so I'll give them like a B minus. I'm not too sure if Markovic is going to do a lot because Milwaukee does not really use young players that much. Joan Berringer, Joan Berringer, I'm gonna give that pick like an A because that's a really good addition for their front court depth. That's actually an A for me. And then for the Suns, Rasheer Fleming's an A because that's some insane value at 31. Asa Newell, Hawks actually did get Asa Newell. I did just realize that. Asa Newell, I'm gonna give an A for the Hawks. Queen, I think the Pelicans got an A plus draft because Fears and Queen in the same draft is actually crazy. That's some nice value. Kobe Sanders, that's a solid pick for being 20th in the second round. But The Clippers have that, not the Knicks. So for the Clippers, I'll give that pick like a B. Wait, I forgot to do some overall classes. LAC, so Clippers like a B. Lakers, I think, is like a B. Memphis, I'm gonna give a B plus. Heat, I think, is an A. I'm gonna give a C minus for the Bucks. C minus for the Bucks. That Timberwolves, I think I'll give I'm giving the Suns like an A plus immediately. I don't really need to cover them. They have a lot of really good players. Hawks, I think, get I'll grade them now because they got Asa Newell. That's like a A minus pick. That's like an A because Asa Newell's a smart pick right there. Minnesota's like an A for me. New York, I'd say, is like a C plus. They didn't really get nothing notable because of their draft scenario because of not having any first. But for second rounders, they got a good pick. I'm like Mohamed Diawara. Sorber. So all they got was Thomas Sorber because Nick Clifford went to the Kings. I'm gonna give that pick like an A minus because that's pretty clutch for the Kings bench. That would be pretty nice. And I'm gonna just keep the Hawks grade the same. But for the Thunder, Thomas Sorber, I'd say that's about an A. I think I'd give that pick about an A. I think I'd give that. It's a solid pick. They don't really. Actually, I'm gonna give it to be honest, I'm giving it a C plus because they don't really need center depth. Max Shoga, Amari Williams and Max Shoga, I think, gives those are very solid picks for that range. So Celtics are a B plus. And then the Jace Richardson pick, I think it's a match made. It's a match made in heaven scenario for the Magic. So I give that an A. VJ Edgecombe, and that's the overall grade for the Magic too, by the way. They get an A. VJ Edgecombe and Janai Broom. I'd give this Sixers class an A minus. These are both great picks. I don't really think they should have went for Janai Broom, in my opinion. But very solid picks. Alex Tui for the Warriors, actually insane value. But I'll keep their grade the same. Lynn McNeely already covered him with Charlotte. Already covered all Phoenix's additions. They got an A plus draft. They did very well. Ooh, I just realized this. Memphis got Cedric Coward, the biggest riser in this draft by far. And they also got Javon Small, who they can actually bring a lot of value out of. So Memphis is an A minus class. Dylan Harper, Carter Bryant went to Atlanta. Just realized that. I think that gives Atlanta an A for me. And their smart Kristaps addition. Cam Jones doesn't really change Indy's grade for me. So they're still going to be actually they'll be F to D plus because Cam Jones is not a bad pick. I think he could actually be somewhat useful with Indy. Dylan Harper, A plus pick, smart move. They're really changing up this roster. Maxime Reynaud actually is going to be with the Kings as well as Nick Clifford. They'll have a B plus class for me. That's where I think I'm headed. Colin Murray-Boyles, Elijah Martin. These are some solid picks. I'd give the Colin Murray-Boyles pick an A. Elijah Martin's a B minus. I'd give their overall class around a B. Washington did get Will Riley and Jameer Watkins, so that's going to be part of their grade. And those are both A picks because that actually could be some solid depth and a nice addition to the Washington's young core. And then Ace Bailey, I'm going to actually give that pick a B minus because it doesn't look like he wants to be in Utah. Same with Walter Clayton Jr. even. They look like they don't want to – they sound like they don't want to be there. And John Tonje doesn't really add much. I'm going to give Utah a B. And then Trey Johnson, that's a smart pick for the Wizards. It's not the best one available. They could have went with some big man depth like Common Mohawk instead. But I'll give that an A minus for the Wizards. That's their overall grade too. I'm not going to grade them, but here is all the UDFAs. Eli John Hadaye for Real Madrid. Aaron Scott for the Celtics out of St. John's. Grant Nelson, TJ Bamba. Caleb Grills with the Bulls now. Cleveland has nothing but 4 for the Mavericks. Got Ryan Nembhard, Miles Kelly, Musa Cisse, and Matt Cross. Nuggets get Tamar Bates and Rain Smith. So Kai Ziegler went to the Pistons. Chance McMillan and LJ Cryer to the Warriors. Cam Matthews to Mississippi State. RJ Felton and Stephen Ashworth to Indy. Actually, not to Houston, not Mississippi State, but that's where he's from. Clips got some. By the way, this is going to be like a longer video, so I'm sorry about that, but like, yeah, this is going to be a longer video, so if you stayed this long, that's actually crazy. Like, congratulations if you stayed this long, but like, Jamil Telford and John Poulakaitis, Eric Dixon, RJ Davis, and Augustus Marishalonis. Actually, Eric Dixon. That's probably the best UDFA signing because he was, in my opinion, like the best player to not get drafted, which is actually crazy. He should have got drafted. Same with Vlad Golden right here too. So he got some good value out of the UDFA signing. Bucks got Sears and Terrence Edwards Jr. That's pretty good additions. Hunter Dickinson went to Pels. Peyton Sanford, Eric Reynolds II. Hunter Salas, Izan Almanza, and Igor Milicic Jr. Wait, this is all kind of value for UDFAs. That's all kind of value, not gonna lie. I could definitely have saw those 3 players get drafted. So some value. Phoenix Suns get CJ Huntley to add to their class. Brooklyn, did they do anything? I don't think they did. No, they got all those. They got like 5 first rounders, so can't be too mad if they didn't do anything. Portland got Caleb Love and Sean Padula. Those are pretty decent additions. Dylan Cardwell and Isaac Nogues Gonzalez. Cam Carter, Chucky Hepburn. Tyson Dagenhart and Clifford Amore are also Raptors UDFAs. And then RJ Lewis Jr. and Stephen Kroll for the Jazz. And then the Wizards get Kaderi Richmond. Wow, this is like my longest video ever. So that's crazy, all right? But if you did enjoy, you know what to do, as STTM is now out. See y'all next time. I'm not going to be wasting your time no more. So road to 500 subs!